Oh my goodness, Denver Broncos. What's the old saying? Like, enough, enough, Uncle. Make him say Uncle. They did that and then some tonight. You wanted a win? How about a blowout? How about you just go skunk the other team? How about the Denver Broncos get that big win in the preseason finale over the Los Angeles Rams? And yeah, you did it. Good job, Denver. Now get ready for the regular season. Get ready for Josh Jacobs. 41-0 against the Rams. Okay, I know it's preseason. I know the Rams don't really care about the preseason. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, they didn't win a single preseason game. Still feels good. Still feel good to get a win. I'm not going to begrudge the Denver Broncos for getting a win, for beating up on an inferior opponent. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, had they not done that, then you would have a different situation. You'd have something different to talk about with this team and been like, well, what are you doing? Because all week long they struggled against the Rams. All week long they did not look as good as they should have against the Rams, and it was a concern. It was a concern for this team when you go, what's the problem? What's the, why are you guys not doing what you're supposed to be doing against the Rams in joint practices? So that was something where you consider it and you go, okay, now they did it. They all done up and done it. And they did it in a big way. And they did it in the game. Most important part is what they did. So congratulations to the Denver Broncos, as now the regular season is here and we're just glad to get through it, glad to get it over, and glad that for the most part they stayed healthy. We'll talk about all that and more with Dmac. Now with more Dmac on the show. 41-0. I don't think we were expecting that, D.
No. Listen, I think we need to praise VJ a little bit. Cease. I mean,
for sure. He wanted a fast start. He got one.
I get it. I mean, like the games don't matter, or this matters, or that matters. But look what their defense did, Cease, in the first half of all these games. I mean, Cecil, they allowed 3 points in 6 meaningful quarters.
Right.
And okay, Sean McVay, you don't want to play anybody. I mean, all right, but whatever. I mean, the guys are out there. You got it done. I mean, Cecil, 3 points in 6 quarters, a shutout. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'll take that. And Vance Joseph has been under so much pressure from the fans of like, you're collapsing. It's Vance Joseph's fault. Like, no, this offense being better is going to cause the defense to get more pressure from opponents. So yeah, VJ is going to be tested, but this was a nice preseason for a lot of people. But first and foremost, that defense was getting it done. And I don't care if it's the backups. They're in front of you. You're playing them. Go. Kick their ass. That's what they did.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Zach Allen better than Draymond Jones?
Yes.
Okay. How we feeling about the pass rush overall? Especially kind of Jonathan Cooper, what he's been. I know he didn't play tonight, but
why is it that in joint practices, which I feel are more important than the preseason games, we didn't see this?
Right.
Like, we didn't see this at all in joint practices, and it was a concern, especially the first day on Wednesday, because in one-on-one drills, the pit, offensive line versus defensive line, Denver didn't win a single rep except for one, Matt Henningsen. So Cooper didn't win, Gregory didn't win, Frank Clark didn't win. And I know the starters didn't play tonight, but like, yeah, your pass rush was there and your defense was suffocating.
Yeah. And when was the last time Justin Simmons played football? I mean,
it's been a minute.
It feels like the last interception Russell Wilson threw was the last time Justin Simmons actually played football out there.
Right.
I'm sure that it feels like that at least.
So, that was the first week of training camp where Caden Stearns make that play, right? And Simmons picks it off.
Yeah, and you lost Jonas Griffith, which sucks. But, dude, Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton have been,
And Drew Sanders tonight was everywhere. He was all over the place.
It's so hard to compare him to Micah Parsons because Parsons is such a freak. But it's really not crazy.
Not at all.
At least in the terms of positionless player who's going to create chaos, who is a freaky athlete.
Yes, got to hang on to the ball after that pick, though. That was pretty funny. He was like running around. I thought he was going to score. With as athletic as he is, I thought he was going to score, but it's great to see balls thrown right to him. I get a ton of questions about Drew Sanders and coverage, and I always say the same thing. I got to see him turn. If the play's in front of him, he gets there in a hurry. He's a freak. I want to see his hips turn before we start talking about Kelsey killer. Like, nobody's a Kelsey killer.
You know, it's funny hearing Josie Jewell talk about Drew Sanders because he said, well, he's had to be fine because he's I don't think he's even trying to like clothesline Jaleel McLaughlin or other guys. I don't think he can kind of help himself, but I think he just plays with his hair on fire. Okay.
Right.
And that's, if it gets out of control a little bit, like, you know, handling the ball when he's probably just a little bit excited. So what? You know, I mean, you know, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. Tons of fun.
Yeah, tons of fun to watch. And, well, James is the first one in the chat room to bring it up. Stidham, improvement from Jarrett Stidham. I still think you should have went after Trey Lance. You get a top 3 pick for a song. That's more of it's not, I know this is a post-game show, so it's maybe a different show, D, but you and I could talk for hours and hours about how, yeah, it's a mistake you didn't go after Trey Lance. Maybe they did because several teams offered, but it was Dallas that broke their back with a 4th rounder. Seriously? And Jarrett Stidham still, you know, we have to praise him for what he did. We have to praise him for making quick decisions, and we have to praise him for putting the ball in the hands of the playmakers, like a Marvin Mims, like an Albert Okwuegbunam, who clearly is making this team now.
Well, you got to give, you know, my computer's a little what are Albert O's numbers from tonight?
Albert O's numbers tonight, 7 for 109 and a touchdown.
What? Plus he leaped over a guy.
Yeah.
Wow. It was wow.
Yeah.
That is all right. I got a concept here. Cecil, positionless football.
Yes.
Drew Sanders and Albert O. Enough. Fine. We get it. He can't block and blah, 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 blah. But dude, you just need weapons. And you kind of just got to figure it out, Cecil.
Okay,
and
overall, D, who's done more in training camp? And I hate to put you on the spot like this, but who's done more in training camp? Greg Dulcich or Albert Okwuegbunam?
In training camp?
If we take everything as a whole, training camp and preseason.
Well, I mean, Albert O had you want to talk about finishing strong in training camp.
And he's showing better as a blocker. I mean, the answer for me is Albert O. Dulcich had him early. Dulcich makes nice catches from Ben DiNucci.
Do you seriously think Albert O is just better?
No. I didn't say that. I just said who did more. Who did more?
Well, listen,
Albert O did more.
I'm thinking, you know, let me tell you this too. Both of them were really good in OTAs and in the mini camp. Okay. Like both of them were kind of equal there. Of course, Albert O had a terrible start to this training camp. It came on like a house of fire. But Dulcich was just kind of steady. You know, it wasn't necessarily spectacular, but he was always kind of there. And Troutman became the number 1 guy. I don't think there's any reason to keep Nate Atkins around. What does he do?
I think they will because he's a blocker. I think they keep 5 tight ends.
Really?
I think they keep 5.
Manhurst's injury? Like, how bad is the Manhurst injury?
That's what we have to wait and see because he's an extra tackle, basically, and they need all the tackle help they can get. If someone's a blocker, they got to keep him.
Nobody's going to pick up Nate Atkins. You could cut him, bring him back on practice squad. Albert O might get claimed. He should get claimed. He'll get picked up by the Rams if not somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Tight end like that. And here's the thing, everyone looking for the Michael Thomas of this offense, and I'm not saying he could do it, but look at what we see with Buffalo. Let's look at Dalton Kincaid. You know what Dalton Kincaid is? He's a receiver. I don't care if his TE is next to his name. They got the best receiver in this class. He's a tight end. Why can't Albert O just be a receiver? And, you know, you're going to block a little bit because he was blocking better.
Cecil, you have a better memory than me. Who is that dude for the Raiders who was like 6'9" as a tight end, but he was like a beanpole? You remember that guy years ago?
Oh, boy.
Or what? Maybe it was the Chiefs. Anyways, the point is.
Well, what? Jody Fortson?
Maybe. But, I mean, it's like, you know, I remember he caught a ball against Chris Harris. And Chris could do nothing about it because the guy's like 6'9" and Chris Harris is Chris Harris.
Right.
And it's like, that's kind of what you get with Albert O. Like, there's just going to be some weird situations that pop up in games where he's going to be uncoverable.
Yes.
And who cares if you're telling everybody he's about to go out for a pass, who can stop him? Good luck. Good luck, because you got to account for everything else too. I love it. Positionless football. You can't have a whole team of that, but see, you can have a couple of guys that,
Right.
That's fine.
Don't
That's
have too many of those guys, but if you have a couple and they got one on each side, they got Drew Sanders.
Mims, hey, man, I got to give props to Mims. Way to go, young man. You're doing a great job, and you got it. You got the job. Montreal's going to get cut, I would guess. Taylor, help me. 13, Stokely Jr.
Oh, yeah. He's Taylor Grimes.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
So
Michael Bandy and Taylor Grimes will get cut, maybe put on the practice squad. Nice, interesting stories at the beginning of camp. But what's funny is we're 3 weeks from the beginning of camp. So we've seen a lot of football in the last month. Actually, we're a month. Wasn't it July 28th? It's August 26th. We're basically a month of seeing this team. Dmac, we've seen it all. And Michael Bandy, Taylor Grimes, sorry. You guys were stories on July 28th. You're not stories on August 26th.
Got to figure out how to get the ball to Jaleel McLaughlin this year, Cease. Just got to figure it out.
Okay, I said James was crazy when he said start him, but he's got to have at least a package. I got to have a Jaleel McLaughlin package. Sorry, Samaje Perine. You're fine. You're nothing special. His own words, not mine. Right. But Jaleel McLaughlin should be that change of pace. I mean, you should give him 25% of the touches. You can't ignore that talent. And the thing that I love about him is he hasn't broken a big one yet. Tonight, his longest was 15 yards, but he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, 4.8 a carry tonight. So it's not like he rips off a big 70-yarder and that makes his average better. No, he's solidly consistent. He gets the most. And TD's always said this, and you've heard Mark Schlereth say it as well. When they would block it for three, TD would get 5.
Yeah.
When you block it for 3, Jaleel will get you 4 or 5.
Look at the first play of the game. I was like, oh, man, that's a lot.
That's going nowhere.
No, it's not. It's 6 yards.
Yeah.
Guess, or whatever.
Off of nothing. There was nothing there.
Okay. He's running. Oh, he's bouncing it outside for 5 or 6 yards.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's cool. He's like that. There's no doubt about it. There's no mystery there. So plenty of credit where credit's due to the Broncos scouts who figured out that this guy would work as an undrafted dude. I mean, hey, man, that's some serious roster building right there. That's where you get a big gold star. Way to go on that one.
Yeah, way to go in finding that guy. And from homeless, living in his Ford Focus, to he's making the Denver Broncos. That's
it's funny, too, if we think about preseason. How about how gracious he was about his name being misspelled? Hey, that's how it's pronounced anyway, so no big deal. And we've been around him a few times, and he's just, man, I tell you, he's humble, and he's so grateful, and golly, how do you not love this guy? Mm-hmm. So I think Broncos country will embrace him with open arms. And now you just got to do the obvious and get him the ball. That's all. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, and what's funny is how many of these guys, the line between making it and not making it in this league is so thin. Terrell Davis in Japan, if he would have been able to speak Japanese, he was going to fly back. He was quitting.
Yeah, that's a fun story.
He was eating a hot dog. He blows up Tyrone Jakeford. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. I talked to Brock Purdy at the Shrine Bowl for an hour. You know what he said? I'm going to start selling insurance. He thought the Shrine Bowl was his last hurrah of playing football. Now he's the 49er starter, so much so they move on from a top 3 pick.
Crazy.
Jaleel McLaughlin from homeless to potential starter. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think so. I think Javonte should start, but you love what you see from the young man, and he's taking it.
The whole starting thing to me is, it's first and 10 on the 25. I don't know. Whatever. Let's count up the touches. The time of the bell cow running back, that's dead anyway.
Done.
So
that's done. Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. And you can't fumble the ball, young man. Don't fumble the ball. But we haven't seen any evidence of that at all during the preseason games or in training camp. I can't think of one fumble.
He had the one fumble out of bounds. It was going out of bounds. Was that the first preseason game?
That come on.
They still don't like to see it. They still don't like to see it. They still don't like to see it. But generally, ball security was not an issue for him. And even pass protection, there was a play tonight where he got in the way enough. He's a little guy. I know. Was it your question about pass protection?
I talked to Joe Lombardi about it.
And what did Joe Lombardi tell you?
you just got to be able. You got to have the heart to step into it.
Close the distance.
Yep, close the distance. And he praised McLaughlin for having that heart and determination. So, hey, man, cool, good. I'll take Joe Lombardi's word on it. Because that was the fear, right? And we all love Phillip Lindsay. Everybody loves Phillip Lindsay. Phil couldn't catch the ball and he couldn't block. He couldn't. And I think Phil's tough. I think he's really tough. But it was hard for him to do that. And Jaleel, I think, is better at that for whatever reason. He might be a little bit bigger than Phil, but not much.
Not much at all. No. And he can catch. By the way, the fans are glad you're not in the bathroom tonight.
I know. I've escaped the bathroom. I'm solidly in the kitchen, not in the bathroom in St. Louis.
Yeah, but we did have fun with the sound effects and like all the, hey, flushing the toilet, all that kind of stuff. So, there you go. We got to lean into it sometimes. Well, the Broncos wind up their preseason. Sometimes what's funny is both Zach and I, Dmac, you didn't have this problem, but Zach and I both stuttered when we were kids.
Okay.
Once in a while, when we get excitable, you hear it with ZB, our man, and you hear it with me sometimes. Like I still get that stammer a little bit, which is funny to think. Like now we talk for a living, and we used to stutter. But like as I struggle to speak English tonight, they finish off the preseason. This just feels good. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if the Rams don't play anybody. I don't care about any of that. Feels good with a win and a blowout win to top it off.
You okay with Russ not playing?
Totally fine. I didn't want him to play.
And did any of the starting offensive line, you don't count Cam Fleming as a starter, so I suppose.
No. But that backup group, like you've got some better depth there. Again, Rams don't have much and all that, but it's good for those guys to get experience. And I think it was you that first said last week, like get Russ out of there, protect him from himself.
Yeah.
You don't need Russ running around trying to ball out in a preseason game.
Dude, Stidham got leveled.
Multiple times. We have to praise his toughness, to be sure. I'm not a Jarrett Stidham fan, but that blankety blanker is tough.
Man, oh man. And good for him. What an exciting play to Mims, touchdown. It still blows me away that defending players, after all this time, the reaction isn't just to touch the dude at some point. Like,
right.
I don't even get it. Like, how do you get that far and you don't realize I got to graze the guy with my hand at some point? But hey, good for Mims for making the catch. And they did rule him down. Sorry, my bad. They did rule him down, but that was like
very close. It was very close, and I love seeing the kid running out. And I tweeted it, DMAC. We all know Twitter is the realm of the lowest common denominator. That's what Sandy used to say. But I will say this: doesn't Mims look like Emmanuel Sanders on that play specifically?
He does.
He look like Emmanuel Sanders? He's
probably a little shorter, but he's got the same sort of body frame.
And he made that difficult grab, and then he's explosive. He's quick off the line. Like, he's like Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, and it's going to be Sutton, Mims, and Hinton. Who are your three guys?
Mike Kliss, I don't know if you watched the local broadcast, and props to Steve Levy, props to Ryan Harris, doing a wonderful job. We've watched the other local broadcasts with other teams. They're not as good as what Denver has. Let's say that. But Mike Kliss was on, and he had his projected 53, and he had Lil Jordan, Marquez, and Kendall making it.
Okay.
No Montrell, no Brandon Johnson, I don't believe.
Really?
I think that might be a mistake. Like, what has Quez done? Like, we all love Quez. Marquez is great personality, but like,
you know what he did? He's a Sean Payton guy, Cecil. That's what he did. So, that goes somewhere.
Okay, Lil Jordan had a good game and a good week of practice. So if that matters, so maybe, but like that now it's Kendall Hinton. So it's no Montrell, it's no Brandon Johnson, Jalen Virgil, the unfortunate knee injury that sucks. And if you keep five tight ends,
Cecil, is it Alberto? And we're just going to go, hey, are we just going to go run heavy? And we'll just give him something to think about. We'll throw Alberto out there with 2 or maybe 3 tight ends on the field at the same time.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're going to look heavy, and it's all about declaration in this league. So you're going to have 2 tight ends, and teams might think that it's heavy because Alberto's proven that he can block a little bit better. and now they're both running routes. So
I mean, listen, the Chiefs, how percentage-wise, how many times do the Chiefs line up Kelsey in the slot? A lot, right?
majority of the time, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, it's not like it hasn't been done before. I mean, you see Kelsey in the slot, and I'm not trying to say Alvarez Kelsey, trust me. But I'm just talking about formations and how you attack things. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. It's already worked pretty effectively. Kelsey's out there in the slot. He's not blocking, right? So he's a target.
Right.
Okay, now what?
Now what? Now what are you going to do?
What are you going to do now?
On the defensive side, is saying Bassey's making this team. I don't care if he's just a slot corner. Like, yeah, whatever. He's got to pick in every game.
Yeah. Yes. Hard to listen. I'll go back again. I mean, it was 3 points in total in the first half of all 3 games. These 3 points allowed by your dominant defensive players. I mean, that's pretty damn good, in a preseason. And listen, injury can do a million different things, but man, I don't see a lot of weaknesses, knock on wood, that they stay healthy. I don't see a lot of weaknesses on that defense.
Yeah. I mean, my only concern would be the defensive line depth. But if everybody's healthy,
you're not more encouraged by, is Elijah Garcia making the team?
Yeah, I think he does. And Kliss didn't have him making the team, I don't think, if I can remember. But Garcia should make the team for sure. And here's the thing, and I said this on Denver Sports Tonight. I must have been yelling at somebody, but they have star potential at every level of the defense. Zach Allen's a superstar. In the middle, Josie Jewell's a star. Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain are superstars. So at every level of the defense, they're star caliber players. So that definitely helps because there's not really a weak spot. If everybody's healthy, there's not really a weak spot on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, depth, I guess. But, man, so Caden Stern starts ahead of Kareem Jackson, I guess.
Yeah, and Kliss did have Kareem making the team. Is there any surprise cuts? Because on Kliss's 53, he had Garrett Bowles, which financially might be a surprise cut. He had Kareem Jackson just because he's old. I don't think it's a surprise cut, but it wouldn't necessarily, some would consider it a surprise cut, but he had Kareem and Garrett making the team. So maybe there's not a surprise cut on this.
I think Brandon Johnson would be a surprise cut, I guess, somewhat. Montrell, I mean, I don't think it's a big surprise cut. I'll give you one. Well, what do you do with Maher? Do you make a trade for Lutz or
and God love everyone that does anything, but somebody was reporting, I think it was from New Orleans. Oh, it was Jeff Duncan.
It was.
So Jeff Duncan is like Sean Payton's buddy.
Right.
And he was reporting they're nosing the Lutz trade. So I think there's a Lutz trade coming. I just don't trust Maher. Do you? When he's out there kicking field goals like he made them, good job. But I don't.
He had a good day. He had a good night.
I still don't trust him.
He's confounding. He had one bad game in preseason, but since then he's been nails on everything. I mean, he's made it all. He makes them all the time in practice. He made him in the game. I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I don't trust him, to answer your question. But I don't know anything about Lutz. Do you remember when who'd they cut? It was Brett Kern, right? And they hired Mitch Berger.
Right.
Go Buffs. And that was a disaster. Just because Mitch had been good at some point. I mean, he was terrible when he got here.
And Kern played for 15 more years.
I know. He's gonna be like a Titans Ring of Famer.
Right, exactly.
But is he still in the league somewhere too, or is he?
I don't necessarily keep track of kickers, but I can do a quick Google search.
But that's the infamous Josh McDaniels 6-0 when you kick the punter and you become the first 6-0 team that doesn't make the playoffs in NFL history. The curse of Josh McDaniels and Brett Kearns. So
he was with the Eagles last year in 2022. He's not with anybody right now, but he was with the Titans from 2009 to 2021.
Dude, that is sick.
First team All-Pro in 2019.
I mean, that's a crazy career for a dude who got cut when the team was 6-0. That is good for Brett. That's awesome. But let's other cuts. I'm trying to think of your swing tackles, Cam Fleming, right?
Yeah.
Who else you keeping on your offensive line? You keeping Quinn Bailey?
What's the kid's name? I can't pronounce his name. Polzlewski.
Palchevsky. Yeah.
Palczewski, something.
Yeah, he's done well.
He has, and he started when McGlinchey was out. He was the starting right tackle. Once they figured out Isaiah Prince wasn't real good.
I guess, Isaiah Prince not very good. Palachevsky or whatever. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
can he play guard too?
I believe so.
Okay.
You'll probably keep Forsyth as the center. Some and people that I respect had him as the number one center in this class, even though he's a 7th-round pick. I did not have him as the number one center, but people that I really respect had him as the best center. So you'll keep Forsyth.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this is pretty boring right here, Cease. Like,
yeah,
it's not quite as dramatic.
Well, earlier our guy Crisscross in the chat room said Sean Payton's got a bunch of tough decisions. I actually don't think there are.
Really? Where?
I don't think there's tough decisions. If you're going to keep Bowles, which it seems like they're going to, you could save $28 million over the next 2 years. I think that was fair. That was fair to ask.
They're keeping Bowles. Bowles is, that was a fun one to talk about. I'm not going to lie. And I get the reasonings behind it, but he's making it.
Josh O here in the chat room, Josh Kogler, excuse me, is everyone's O. Everyone's last name tonight is O. One, because Steve Levy couldn't pronounce Okuibunam.
You know what Steve does? I know what he does, Cease.
He does it on purpose. He does it on purpose.
Well,
Brian Harris is sitting right next to him saying Okuibunam.
I know, but if you look at the Broncos media roster and their pronunciations, I'm telling you, I think Levy is pronouncing it the way it's laid out with the roster stuff.
Well, look at what Josh O is saying here to Dmac O and Cecil O. Is Alberto making the team or just getting traded? Did they showcase him for a trade?
Well, he was playing late in the fourth quarter, Steve.
He had 100 yards and a touchdown. We love it. We feel great for him. I didn't think he was making the team a month ago.
Yeah, and it wasn't just this game, FYI. It was a really solid week in the joint practices, too. Yep. In fact, on the day that Jerry Jeudy, couldn't catch a cold before he got hurt, Alberto was the superstar. And he stacked good day on good day and finished with a great game. He's jumping over guys. He's making tough catches. I don't know, man. He's just, you got a weapon, you keep him. That's it. And you worry about it later. Like, if it's not working out, cut him then, trade him then. Whatever. Like, right. Who do you desperately need on the team, Cecil, for your 53 over Alberto? Ben DiNucci? No. So, I would keep Alberto for sure. 100% I'd keep Alberto.
Yeah. Chris Cross back in the chat room. He's like, Atkins looked like a fullback. That's another reason why I think you're keeping perhaps 5 tight ends, because you have 1 fullback already in Michael Burton. He's making the team easily. You keep 3 running backs, you keep 5 receivers, you keep 5 tight ends.
Okay. Hey,
there you go.
Just give me guys who can make some plays. Give me guys who can make some plays. Russell Wilson, it'll be a short passing attack for the most part to set up deeper shots of play action. And your running backs are going to catch balls. Michael Burton is going to be your super secret weapon that Wilson already does feel very comfortable with. And if you have ridiculous mismatches with Alberto against a sad sack linebacker trying to run around out there, that's a guy that I would hope Russell Wilson can hit.
Finnison Works saying number 52, Marcus Haynes, practice squad. Haynes is a developmental pass rusher of all, and I know Thomas Nkoum had a sack tonight. That's the first play Thomas Nkoum's made all camp.
Dude, that's so funny they bring up Marcus Haynes, because that's the player that Alberto laid out in practice. Twice. He treated him like Drew Sanders treated that Rams player, where he just like body slammed him. So for a guy who's known to not hit at all with Alberto, like Haynes felt the pain of 85.
Yeah, 85. He's been on a mission, man, and I love it. See, Andrew and I, Mace Denver, we argued a little bit about when Alberto dunked it in joint practices and I was like, good. I want him to feel that, man. Make him feel you, kid. And Mace is like, no, that's a dumb penalty, and the coaches don't want that. I'm like, I want the guy feeling confident. They can tell him not to dunk it later.
Yeah, who
Like,
cares? Have
go,
some
go,
edge.
show that edge, show that confidence. And I love seeing that from Alberto.
Yeah, and listen, it was inexcusable how flat they came out on Wednesday. It really was. So, again, I'm going to temper things. Sean McVay does not care about preseason. They got all their work in the joint practices. They kicked the Broncos' butt on Wednesday. It was a better day for the Broncos on Thursday, but they did run out of gas. Both days in a row, they ran out of gas.
Yeah, that was weird.
Um,
A team in altitude facing a team from sea level, and they run out of gas 2 days in a row.
I think Cecil, I think the Rams just take more reps, more team reps. I do. I think Thursday's practice was more about what they wanted to do, and I think Wednesday it was more what the Broncos wanted to do. And there were so many reps, and Sean Payton talked about it, more than 120 reps over 2 days, and you could feel it. There was like a real football game, not hitting the quarterback on Thursday. Like there was a million plays.
Yes.
Halftime crap with special teams, and then another million plays. So
Well, I think it was Ryan Harris on the broadcast, and I didn't realize this one because I can't do math. I never learned to read anyway. Those 120 reps are 2 games worth of reps. We basically saw 2 games in 2 days of those joint practices. That's why they're more impactful than the game.
Yeah, man, it was a great couple days and just a couple little fights, nothing, no big deal. And the Broncos got, listen, man, Broncos got taken to the train station a little bit, and okay, fine. And they had a good rebound here tonight. Listen, from everything I can understand, we have 3D scoreboards and the world's largest screen. I understand they were watching that game in Grover, sitting in the back of a pickup truck.
Very good. Yeah. So big. There you go. On the Pawnee Buttes.
Yeah, man. And I guess all the foo-foo shishi people can, jangle their, expensive jewelry in the Bourbon Club or
yeah. What was Drew Spivak doing in the suite tonight? How'd Spivak get those tickets? Come on.
Who knew Drew Spivak had friends? So, there's all sorts of takeaways from that one.
Well, he did work at a golf course, so he probably rubbed elbows with some real wealthy people.
Good for Drew. I'm glad everybody had a good time. It looked like the weather was fantastic. It was actually kind of a perfect football night, which was cool. Like, man, there's and we'll, we're doing this, but I'm looking forward to seeing some of the takeaways and the reaction. Oh, by the way, Cease, any injuries to be noted? Anything significant stand out to you?
McLaughlin got a little bit banged up, a little ankle thing, but he was back in the game, you know, and he was doing that. So I like the way James T puts it, homeless to home runs. He's their home run hitter, man. Yeah.
It's a great story, man. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And I know Tuesday's the deadline, but I have a feeling tomorrow we'll be hearing about some cuts.
Yeah.
It's already happening across the league. You're getting guys cut, left and right now. So they don't have to wait till Tuesday.
It's all good. Listen, the team came together relatively well. How do you think Sean Payton and George Payton get along these days?
I think it's business. I don't know how friendly they are, and I know other people would say, no, they're the best of friends. I don't feel that way. Not at all. There's a lot of George Payton picks that aren't going to make this team.
Well, Cecil, there's about to be 1,100 players, more than 1,100 players.
Almost 1,200.
Yeah, man. So it's just because you make the 53, bro.
Wait, did you drive a scooter through the Aurora Mall?
What? No.
That's what Matt is saying. Is like, was that a radio stunt? You drove a scooter? No.
We did something in the Aurora Mall. That was about like KBPI days, dude. That was like 20 years ago.
So it was, and the scooter doesn't sound like KBPI days. That was more like monster truck stuff.
It would have been like a ferocious motorcycle.
72 CUDA.
Yeah. It might have been an off-road vehicle, Cecil, back in those BPI days.
Yes, it might have been that. Yeah, stadium did look fantastic. Number 9, who had it as the number 9 stadium? I don't necessarily agree with that, but yeah, the scoreboard, fans enough, like it was rocking. It was good to see.
Well, you get to a bigger topic of, do they really need to build a new stadium at all, or do they really just need to do capital improvements to Dove Valley, which I know they want to do? And will they They're probably done with most of the stuff in the stadium unless they want to put a roof on it. And Cecil, I know they've had discussions and plans. There are blueprints about how to put a roof on that stadium. I know that for a fact.
And a retractable roof, so you can still have it open. You could still experience snow games, like a retractable roof for Taylor Swift, or so Ed Sheeran doesn't get delayed 3 hours and Richie loses out on sleep.
Well, God, I mean, let's talk about the important things in life. No doubt about that.
Ed Sheeran.
I will tell you this too. We're just because of the confines of the parking lot, inherently tailgating at Mile High is okay. It's okay. And I'm sure everybody who's been parking in the same spot for years has a wonderful time with everybody around them. All that being said, what you really could do instead of building an entire new stadium, Cecil, is bring all the stuff to the stadium. Build parking lots instead of flat paces. Build a McGregor Square sort of nightlife entertainment, whatever, so that people would want to come there, year round. Make it an extension of an entertainment district that likely, Cecil, will connect when they knock down Elitch's and expand all that stuff with Ball Arena.
Right.
So do you really need a new stadium after $100 million improvements? I mean, I'm leaning no. And for what? I mean, you have all the major concerts already. Granted, you don't have them in January and February, but you still got them. I mean, Taylor Swift came here. Ed Sheeran came here. Millennium came here. Yes, I know about Millennium. And I just think there's other stuff you can do with the properties that you already own, Cease. I don't think you have to go out towards the airport.
All they need to do is reroute I-25.
I mean, dude, it kind of is what it is, man.
It is.
I don't know, man. It's a National Football League game. It's 8 a.m. Go. I mean, why are you waiting so long?
Right.
But that would make more sense if they built more stuff. So, and we love Mile High Station. Love Mile High Station. Mile High Station is perfect. You probably need another 10 Mile High stations for, 80,000 people.
Right. Baseball Lover 6 asked, will they bring back Hamler? No.
Oh,
no. Teams always lie like that. Like, we would love to take a look at. No. That's not going to happen. This one took a while to get here, but Gabriel, the first one to say it, Russ on the hot seat. Now,
no.
Sean Payton went out of his way to tell Ariel, I believe he told Ariel, like, hey, Stidham did good. Let's not go there. So this is still all about Russ. And even our man Frank Schwab suggested it on Twitter. I saw my man Frank. I haven't texted him yet. I should. But he suggested, like, maybe Russell Wilson's, leash is a little bit shorter now because the way Stidham looked. I'm like, no.
Zero. That, and the dialogue on ESPN on Friday was ludicrous. Mike Tannenbaum, I mean, I don't know. It was insane. Okay. Listen, I don't think people really get the contract situation and what's going on. And I don't want to bore everybody with going through it. You got to win with Russ. You got to win with Russ.
2025 money is guaranteed if they keep him after this year.
Yeah, $37 million.
Yeah.
And that's 2025 money.
Yes. So 2 years.
So I'll tell you this. If it sucks with Russ, you may as well suck with Russ all the way. Because if it's really that bad, there's nothing about Jarrett Stidham dragging you to a 7-win season that benefits you. If it's going to be terrible, let it be terrible all the way. So there's virtually no logical reason to actually bench Russ in any situation except for injury. Like, all right, Cecil, I'll turn it back on you. Against the Rams, Christmas Day Massacre. It was 17-0 after the first quarter in week 15, 16, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
Does Sean Payton bench Russ and go with Stidham in the second quarter?
No.
And that was as bad as you could get. That was bad, Cecil.
That was awful.
the season's over. The game's over in the first quarter. Russ was terrible. He had several injuries that he was dealing with. Dalton Reisner, how about that? Dalton doesn't have a job yet, and he's smacking around Brett Rippon, who's now, taking reps for the Rams. That all happened too in that game.
Right.
And, I don't know. No, I don't think there's any scenario, Cecil, that makes sense. Why are we talking about this anyways? Forget that, man. Let's go.
Yeah. It's all about Russ. It's all about Russ. Matt bringing up that I'm not a Bronco fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan. You can't be a fan to do this job. You can be excited because everyone all gets mad. Like, you're a Steelers fan. Like, not now. Not after 20 years of doing this. You can't really be a fan. It's one thing I love about college football. I can still be a crazy college football fan.
Yeah,
but as far as a Bronco, you don't want to be a Bronco fan and cover the team. That's why you don't tell the truth.
I think,
you think there's so much spin out there.
Semantics with that definition of fan.
Yes.
Like, I mean, would we prefer the Broncos to win? Hell yeah. Damn right we would.
Yes.
It would make
better for our job.
Yeah, it would be better for
fun.
us. Okay.
More fun.
I always root for us, Cecil. No matter before any team. I always root to keep the lights on. That's my favorite thing to root for. But that being said, it's okay for us when we are excited about things to talk about being excited about things.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's okay for us to, be critical of things too. So is that a fan? What's a fan? Why would anybody just want to listen to the corporate line about fan? I mean, there's so many places to go for that.
Everything's great. There's no problem whatsoever with this team.
So
by the way,
remember last year I asked Justin out and I go about rivalry games. And he goes, every game's a rivalry. Well, if all you're doing is hearing fanboy reaction about your team, how can you tell the difference? Like, if somebody who's being fair and is critical also gets excited, Cecil, doesn't that mean more?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's another side. If there's only one side, if every game's a rivalry, then what's so special ever about playing the Raiders?
Right.
It's not. So I'm sitting here tonight. I'm encouraged by the defense. I think the offense, Cecil, is going to score about 20 points.
21 points. 21 points a game.
I was going to say 20.6, but whatever. And
round up, baby.
So you're going to have to win close games, and your defense is going to have to hold up. And your offense, it's a 4-point improvement from last year. Hopefully you can win more games because of that. But to think that the Broncos are going to light up games 30, 35 points with this offense, they're not. They're not.
That's not going to happen. I love how Mike Kliss will slip stuff in. He does this on our airwaves. He did it tonight on the broadcast. He's like, Jerry Jeudy won't be on IR. Because you asked what would happen with Jerry Jeudy. Kliss let it slip tonight. Jerry Jeudy will not be on IR. I think that might be a mistake.
IR's 4 games, right?
Yes. But
Kliss
doesn't think he'll be on injured reserve. So when Roport asked, can they survive the first month without Jeudy? It might only be a couple of games. He might be back in week 3.
Against Miami?
Yeah. Which is bad because that humidity down there and that heat coming back from a hamstring, like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to have Jerry Jeudy, but rushing a guy back on a hammy is but Jerry Judy's sending out cryptic emojis. That's what he loves doing, of like, crying, laughing face. I mean, okay, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, all right. I guess you're not that hurt. I don't know. You look pretty hurt when they got the card out.
Right.
But listen, I like Jerry Jeudy. I root for Jerry Jeudy to be successful. I think he's got all sorts of great talent. It was interesting hearing our own Nate Jackson talk about he just has poor catching mechanics. Great route running, poor hands.
Well, remember they said earlier this offseason, they're like, now he's putting his thumbs together. And I'm like, every receiver knows that. If it's above your chest line, thumbs together. If it's below your chest line, pinkies together. Every receiver knows that. And
listen,
then
man, what
now just starts doing that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Every day at camp, Jeudy would drop an easy one, and most days he would catch the next one. On Wednesday, it was brutal. He couldn't catch. It was bad. He couldn't catch anything. And then Thursday, he gets hurt. So, I don't know, man. But listen, you need Jerry Jeudy. That's good news if he doesn't go on IR. They expect to get him back. Maybe it was hot out there, Cecil. So maybe it was a little bit of a hamstring cramp sort of deal. And did you notice they didn't warm up the same? they went right from their warm-ups right to team, right to 11 on 11. Whereas they didn't do 1-on-1s, they didn't do 7-on-7, they didn't do all that other stuff they typically do. They just went right into things. So I don't know.
Anyway, super quick before we're done. Josh Jacobs signed.
Yeah.
Notorious Broncos killer. You think he'll be ready in 2 weeks?
Hey, you risk injury, dude. You pull, we've seen it a million times. Guys late in the camp, guys late in the season, cease. They're not in football shape. He'll play. Whatever, man. I mean, I'm not afraid of that. I don't care. I'm way more afraid of Devontae Adams than Josh Jacobs. And Max Crosby. How you feeling about Max Crosby, bro?
He might make him. How did I put it? He might make Mike McGlinchey like Khalil Mack made Michael Schofield look. I'm not saying 5 sacks, but
well, what are you saying then?
At least 2. He's getting 2 sacks, right? Max Crosby will get 2 sacks.
It's not just that he'll get sacks, but we saw it in Quarterback on Netflix with Mahomes and Max Crosby. Crosby's dirty, dude. That's his game. He's gonna touch you. He's gonna hit you. He's gonna be that guy. That's Max Crosby. And okay. Let's see. But hey, listen, Cease. Whatever. We finally got here. My God. It's they're gonna get rid of this third preseason game too. At some point, they're going to add an 18th game. Thank God. Just more good NFL football. Cease, it would be kind of cool. How about this for an idea? What if, can you imagine this? This weekend was opening weekend in the NFL, and all the teams take a bye week over Labor Day. Everybody takes a bye week for college football. Just kind of see where you are, and then you get going. How freaking cool would that be?
Well, we'd have a lot more momentum. Now we got 2 weeks of dead time to just be like, I don't know what's going on. We're waiting and seeing. And yeah, I like the old days where it was like preseason's done, everybody's cut, you're playing. Go.
Well, now it's mandated. Like over the Labor Day weekend, it's like 4 forced days. Like, all right, will we see Russell Wilson in sunglasses under the lights at the U.S. Open like we did with Sierra last? And he's wearing sunglasses at night watching tennis. Will we see Russell Wilson on a business deal as he was last year on Labor Day or not?
No.
Really?
I hope not.
Okay. Hey, let me tell you, not only was he at the U.S. Open, he was on CNBC pushing like air conditioners for Carrier or something. And he was like, that was a work weekend for him last year. That was a work weekend for Russell Wilson over that 4-day break. So you think he's going to keep it on the down low? He's just going to rest, get ready, that sort of thing.
Everything seems to be, other than the Jerry Jeudy, whatever that was tweet, I have no idea. Everything seems to be a little more low key this year.
Okay.
I think that includes Russ. It should include Russ. Like
I hope it does. I hope they can rest up, sort of get ready for the Raiders, and off we go. Cecil, what's the record going to be?
Oh boy. This is about an 8 to 10 win team.
Oh, come on. You can't do that. There's a big difference between 8, 9, and 10. Come on.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. Well, the potential is there for 10, but I'll ride the fence like Mike Evans and just say 9 wins. Mike does that. He does that so he's never wrong. Like I told you guys, nothing would happen. Like
I think they could get 10 wins. I'm going to couch it up a little bit too. Okay. I think they can get 10 wins if Maher does not miss a kick he needs to make at the end of a game. And I bet you he has 3 or 4 games like that this year, and he can't miss. He can miss 1 or 2.
If he misses points. 1, they're trading for Lutz. Like they're making a move. He can't miss a thing. He's got to be perfect.
Yeah, because Lutz will be out there. Oh, well, are we assuming they did, or did they already cut Lutz?
I haven't seen it come across the wire yet.
But they're expected to? That's what it's expected to?
Yeah, that's why they're expected to make a trade for him. And that was from Jeff Duncan, and Duncan is real friendly with Sean Payton. So
if the Broncos can win close games and VJ's defense can shut the door, I think they can win 10 games. I do think they can do it. But boy, oh boy, Cease, they're going to be close games this year. Lots of close games.
Yes, get ready for your heart to skip a beat watching these Broncos. Close games and ugly football.
No doubt. No doubt.
We're going to make t-shirts about that instead of I got my training camp t-shirt around here somewhere. I can't believe y'all made me wear a Wacko for Flacco shirt. That came up on my Facebook memories this month because, it's training camp. It's like in 2019 or whatever, you got a Wacko for Flacco shirt. I'm like, why?
Well, I still have my chub shirts, Cecil. So what's this year? We're
a Camp Comeback.
Camp Comeback.
Why wasn't it Compete Street? They have a sign.
They do.
They have a street sign that's bolted into the concrete that says Compete Street.
Yeah, and the location of that sign is in a funny spot too.
And it's where the media is. The players don't even walk by that place.
I doubt the players even know it exists. I doubt they see it. So what are they trying to tell us?
Right. Ooh, Swink with a great question. Will Sean keep it low key? Will Peyton? No, nothing with Sean Payton. No lattes. What was it? Espresso or latte? What did he say?
Two lattes.
Any two latte days for Sean Payton coming up?
I don't know, man. When you give these multimillionaires 4 days off, you know what they like doing? Making more millions. So, I don't know, man. I just would say to everybody, just go chill. I'm all right if they get out of town a little bit. I don't care about that. Just go somewhere, get off your feet, chill, rest your body. Be good to go. That's all. Yeah, I don't know. It's a big college football weekend. I don't think Sean Payton has a dog in that hunt. So unless he goes down to Texas and roots for TCU against CU, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, it's all. I don't think he'll be shaking his. I don't think he'll be shaking his moneymaker. I think he'll be chill and just get ready for the Raiders.
Okay. There you go. And yeah, push for the playoffs. That's the best thing for the Broncos is for Russell Wilson to look good.
Hey, so what's your beef with Stidham?
You never know where the ball's going. Like that's the problem. The pass he made to Michael Bandy on Thursday down the left sideline, it was beautiful. It's a cover 2 beater. He dropped it in the honey hole. Very high caliber pass. And like the next pass was like 10 yards off. So
would the Broncos be better off with Trey Lance?
Yes, because you get him for nothing. And if he works out, great. And if he doesn't work out, great. Doesn't matter. But Trey Lance is not this runner. I had some words with people on Friday night because this whole notion Trey Lance is this great runner. No, Justin Fields is a great runner. Josh Allen's a great runner. Trey Lance is like Carson Wentz. He's okay. But Trey Lance has made strides as a passer. Everyone watch QB School, JT O'Sullivan.
Yeah,
everyone watch QB School. Watch the Trey Lance episodes. He's making strides as a passer. And so I would take a chance on that first round talent and pay him less than Stidham.
Yeah.
But Sean Payton, that's Sean Payton's move. We have to look at these moves and say, is that a George Payton move or a Sean Payton? Because George Payton's in yes, sir mode. Yes, sir, no, sir, right away, sir mode. So when he wants to trade away a second rounder next year to move up Riley Moss again in the third round, guess what George Payton's doing? Yes, sir. When he wants Jarrett Stidham, you think George Payton's fighting that? George Payton's going, yes, sir. When they want Jonathan Taylor, which it's funny how and I don't care what anyone reports. I hear stuff, I'm going to report it. The next day, Ian Rappaport reported what I reported. And it's yeah, Jonathan Taylor's on the menu. Doesn't mean they get him. Miami's going to go hard at him. They already made it. Miami already made an offer. For what I know, Denver has not made an offer. But the Broncos were serious about Dalvin Cook. They're interested in Jonathan Taylor, which is interesting considering how we're excited about these running backs.
Yeah, it seems to me like the last thing you got to worry about right now.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I don't think they'll go. I think they're fine. I mean, listen. The bigger question is how good is the offensive line going to be at run blocking? Because you got talented guys to run the ball. You do. So I don't think Jonathan Taylor would add that much more to the mix than the guys that you already have. it's all going to be dependent on the offensive line and Cecil. Garrett Bowles high paid, Powers high paid, Cush rookie contract,
McGlinchey high paid.
And yeah, so I mean, you got a lot of money. I don't know where the Broncos. I know they have the most expensive receiving room in the NFL.
I think they have the most expensive tackles too. You need some Gatorade Zero, baby. That's what you need. By the way, Izzy says, "Why don't you do a show together? You both have great radio faces." Is there a Mendoza line? Can you be good looking and do good radio? Like,
wow,
is that a thing?
Yeah,
and
like
anytime someone says like you have a great face for radio, I go, I'm sorry I didn't turn you on. That was
right.
my
I mean,
total
like
point tonight.
James Marilat is kind of annoying because he's good looking and he's pretty good on the radio too. But you know, Mike Evans evens the curve, so we kind of take care of that. You know, we figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah, we get it done. Are we done? Do we wrap it up? We talk about everything.
I can't. You know, how was parking tonight? I mean, was everything? Do we cover it all? I thought the broadcast was good. You know, I thought it was weird in the broadcast that they started going into like thanking everybody with like 7 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, they took a shot of all the cameramen and stuff, and we know some of those cameramen. There's like unsung heroes, baby.
Yeah, but there's like a lot of time left to go in the game when they started doing that sort of stuff. Which, you know, it's
right.
I thought 9 News did a good job. I thought the broadcast was smooth. I thought Ariel did a. I mean, you know, it's tricky because Sean Payton didn't allow them to do like sideline interviews. So
yeah.
You know,
that sideline. I always give a bunch of grace to sideline reporters because that's talk about thankless job.
Yeah, but usually in the local TV broadcast of the preseason, you at least get that element of it. You know, usually that's when it's okay to do it. And, you know, I guess not. But I thought it looked good. It sounded good. I thought they did a great job. Overall, Cece, you on the broadcast?
Yeah, I'm just worried about your voice.
Oh, my God. I'm fine.
Throat coat tea, baby. Throat coat tea. Get something to drink.
I guess we are done if you're worried about my voice. But now it's time to dig into all the highlights, get all the reactions, hear what everybody had to say about stuff, get your NFL Game Pass, Cecil, condensed or the all 22, you go to town on it. It's time to like dig into it on a Sunday. So,
can I do a sick brag for you?
Yes,
I have access.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah. So
hey, let me do something.
Which is like Game Pass used to be, and access is for team. There's a team that gives me access, and it's not the Broncos. It used to be Game Pass used to be like that, where you could say, "Give me every third down play, give me every 3rd and 3 play." Like you can do that in access. You can't do it on Game Pass anymore. And Game Pass kind of sucks now because that you can't do that.
Hey, Cease, as we're about to wrap things up, and thanks for everybody for watching. You and I have a mutual friend, Mark.
Yes.
Who's going through a really tough time this weekend.
Right.
And we both really love Mark.
Love him. Great guy.
Yep. And hopefully he hears us say this together because I think it would mean a lot to him. But my thoughts have been with Mark and his family this whole weekend. And just want to say, love you, bro. And I just feel terrible about what's going on. And we're here for you. And Cecil, I know you probably feel the same.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mark's one of the good guys, big Broncos fan, and just love him dearly, love his family dearly. And we're definitely, I'm sending those positive vibes and prayers and everything towards him and his family. So that is a wrap. He is Dmac. I am Cecil. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned and stay frosty.